Yo. Currently just setting up some stuff. Alright. Wait, I will share this link on a different channel. Okay. So, I'm not really in the mood for illustration. I kind of woke up a bit late today, and I kind of get in a weird headspace when that happens, and it's not really good for illustration. So I've decided to do something that's sort of passive, well, somewhat, and that's level design for my game. So right now I've just finished the tutorial for the buttons or slots that are in the game. They're the third mechanic, and this is just the simple tutorial for it, and you would jump through, but this is a duplicate of that, so I'm gonna edit this a bit and say this is not. So I'm just gonna hide this for a second, then I'll make the texture. I'm getting up chat right now. By C, do you mean like my face or oh, okay. Okay. So I'm just gonna sort of figure out what I want the special thing you would have to do in this space to be. Gonna move this away for a bit. Oh, that's what YouTube said? That's interesting. I'm running the chat on my phone as I don't have two monitors since I use a laptop. But, so I just see the normal emojis. But even normal ones aren't very pretty. I like using Unicode or just sort of symbols better. Okay, so maybe you have to see. Since I've added buttons to the game, a lot of the old level designs I've had kind of are better now. Well, I can reuse because I kind of stored them away, but now looking back at them, I think I could just do better things than it, as they were just so simple that they could just be like very easy, too easy. So I'm kind of trying to make entirely new puzzles now. Let's just hope this is somewhat challenging because buttons are really simple. It would make sense for this to be the first mechanic that would be taught in the game, because the first mechanic other than shifting, which is pressing F and making the case do this, the first thing after that were these. and these are sort of like long distance activators, or don't really know what to call them, but basically they would just do that. And these, I guess, are a bit more complex than just simply pressing E on this and then bringing it over to somewhere else. Also, that square obviously is not going to be in the game when it's final. Okay, so I want to make it that you see into this other space. Also, I reorganized like all of my textures, so I had to redo a lot of things and like renamed and oops, oh, that's a curtain. Renamed a bunch of things, so I kind of had to rebuild each of my levels. My textures just sort of didn't work anymore. Like this one, this is what it used to look like, or well, it used to look like this. And I kind of didn't like how it, even though it darkened things and it kind of showed that there's depth in there, like this is a curtain you can't go through here, I think people are still a bit confused, and it kind of added noise to some of the like unnecessary and annoying and distracting noise to previous spaces. Like I'll show you this one. So this one originally, this is what kind of made me the decision to change a lot of the textures. Because in here it looked just terrible when all of these had that sort of they weren't entirely translucent. They were using that like a 50% opacity like I showed you on that previous one, and it just looked terrible. So I just decided to kind of redo all the textures so that they just are, the lines tell you if they're you can't go through them, and it actually turned out pretty well when I tested a few other people in it, and they knew it was windows just like they were before. But yeah, this one I'm happy with. It's kind of a good introduction to these a bit. Anyway, you'll see that in the game when it's done, if it even comes through. Oh, this is going to be for mirrors, which I'm going to have to find out how to make those. I still have to remember the way I do these textures. There we go. Okay. See, seeing here, and you can't. Let's make it so that the exit's over. Yeah, like over here or something. Yeah, I'm happy with it. The game is sort of shaping up visually, but I still think there are some things that could be done better. And, well, I really shouldn't have deleted that curtain. Oh. It's in case 1. And I'm gonna just use my prefab. Oh, so you can just see how disorganized oh, nope, that's the wrong folder. You can see how disorganized everything was, since this game I kind of redid a lot of stuff with it when there was like this one period of time where I just stopped working on it, and this is what I worried about. Yeah, there's this one period of time where I just stopped working on the game because I did a big change, and so the change was mainly just I redid a lot of the ways mechanics worked, and I just like stopped working on it because it just became too much of a change. And I just was like, schools, finals are going on, I don't want to work on this, it's too much. And now I've kind of returned to it, and it's, so there's like you can see there's kind of like 2 ways I named things, and some things are just completely unused that are in there. That's from when it previously worked a bit differently. This is not turning out well. I'm just going to copy and paste it from another space. And yeah, a lot of my prefabs are just not good looking. Okay, better. But at some point around the time when I think I'm done with a lot of levels, I mean, I should be starting now, but I do kind of want to work on these to just see if it's worth it. But then eventually I'm going to kind of redo a lot of the source of the game and redo a lot of the ways I named things and the code and just a lot of just all of this, because I kind of want it to be open source so people can make their own levels at some point, because this mechanic is really fun and I think there could be lots of things going on with it. Oh yeah, Steam Audio. I looked at that a bit and I found it really interesting, but it might be good for the game, but I do also think that having to sort of, I mean, it would kind of be perfect with it, since this has like the wall, like having reverberate off the walls is kind of interesting, as like the soundtrack right now might not be the final soundtrack. I have like 5 tracks, but they're all kind of a different tone, so like if you listen. And so like this is sort of a bit more airy than I kind of want the game to be. And it's using what was originally going to be for a different game I was working on too, the synth. So I might redo it to be a lot more clicky and sort of like Ryoji Keta, but a bit more toned down and ambient, because I think that fits with the visual style more, and that might go well with Steam Audio. I'll have to check it out in more detail some other time. It's okay. This is also not. This curtain's also gonna be special. I might have to make a texture for it. I probably will. So let's do that. I have to change my name. Okay. I was gonna put on some music. Actually, no. I might go without some music for a bit. Oops. Yeah. This is, yeah, I did something like this. Okay. Ooh, right, that's a problem. Oh, there's the curtain, and then curtain. I'll have to rename those, but I don't want to do that because I'm have to. Because yeah, I didn't add the like name tag, which would be activator, because those ones can only be activated with those red lines, and these ones can only be activated or turned off with the buttons, because the buttons can trigger things, just like those like activators can. But I didn't add that tag to the name, so it's going to be kind of disorganized, or just won't really flow that well with everything else in development, which I don't really want to happen. Oops. Did I delete? Oh, what's going on? Stop. Okay, so now I have those textures, and that took a bit too long. Okay. So now this is kind of the basic shape of it. This is the shape I've been actually going with for a lot, or I think it's one more row, so this one's a bit thinner. But, I'm just trying to figure out how I want case 2 to sort of be. So I don't think I'll need this here. I'm going to put on music now, actually. Thinking this. Yeah, I'll start. Okay, so I made the audio. Hopefully the audio is, because I made it so it doesn't prioritize sound like it used to. But hopefully it isn't too loud. Can you still hear me with this audio? Like, well? Because last stream I did, the audio was kind of weird. That was a bit too loud? Okay, got it. I'll make it a bit lower. And see ya! So, this is a bit... It's weird how it's still prioritizing sound. Yeah, see ya. It's just because this is like innately loud. I don't think that's a thing. What's this? What am I feeling for? Okay, so if anyone's still here, tell me if this is good. You're going to press the button. Yeah, I'm playing your music. It's very good. Okay, this looks good. Just gonna turn it about a bit because I think it is a bit loud. Just kind of checking over if it looks good. So you're in here, and you see this level. I'm going to make this texture just a regular one. I'm going to remove the activator for now. Make it over here too. Maybe I want to make it that you're stuck in this area in this case. So my game, if you don't know, is separated in two cases, which you've probably been seeing, where it goes from black to white. So when I press F, the game goes from, so when I press F, this is case 1, and this is when the colors are darker, and this is case 2, where the colors are lighter. And the whole mechanic of the game is basically so you use this to get into specific areas. For example, I can't get past here. Oops, that's the wrong texture. Anyway, I can't get through here by walking simply through it, but basically I can change the case, and now I can go there, and now I'm in here. And so puzzles, basically, all these mechanics can travel between those two cases, and sometimes they exist only in one of those cases too, like you only can solve the puzzle in that one case, but mainly they all kind of go together. So anyway, I want to maybe be that you're stuck in here, and even though you can change into the second case and move around in here, you wouldn't be able to go back if you're over here or something. It might send you back or something. Or not send you back, but you just can't go into specific areas over here. I did that once in one of my early levels, which I'm going to redo when I have mirrors in. So I like the idea of you being able to see a lot of stuff and you kind of randomly teleport into open space. And yeah, just having all the walls be glasses. Oops. So this level is entirely separated by these glass panels, at least in case 1 is. Yeah, this looks nice. Okay, cool. So now maybe you just can't, maybe I'll add a second, a third sort of row to this space. Oh, the block is, okay. These are, any red space is a space you just can't shift in. So these are just the triggers that make it so you can't shift in that space. But sometimes I forget about them, so they kind of move all around. Okay. But anyway, let's get this exit. And then these things. This really should be a shader, and I think Alva is working on one, and that might incorporate in here because that could be really good. Because I don't like this. Where are these walls? Oh, right. Oops. you just can't see through here. I mean, what's the point? I think that's kind of cooler when everything's like this. I don't know why these are not set to unlock transparent. I think it's because I do. This is when I didn't edit these levels when I was working on the, because all the other previous levels, all the textures are unlit transparent just simply because I have a lot of transparent textures, just basic stuff. But everything past the when I implemented the activator mechanics, I did do buttons before that. I kind of separated off, and so some things in here are using some older settings I had in, so I just kind of have to update them slowly, just when I come across the problem. Let's get this part and these walls. There we go. Okay. This looks so good. I'm happy with how this looks, but now let's make it actually do something. So you have to first get in here, and here there's the button, the first button. And these do not look good. This is why I've been questioning if I want to change entirely the texture style, because these buttons, or figure out a different way to do the buttons, because they do not look good with everything, unless you think they do. But yeah, they kind of look very out of place with the very thin style of the game, right? I mean, even here with the line coming down, it just doesn't look good. So I might change that. And what the white square is, so I haven't really said what it was, I just said that's probably not going to be there. But it's, originally the game had a UI to it, so when I pressed exit, it kind of had this cryptic menu where there's simply 3 lines and what would be a map above it. And the 3 lines would indicate going to a past level or a future level, and or exiting, which would be the center one. So like, I was thinking of that at some point, that you would have to take things from one level and bring it to the next one. And I decided to kind of remove that. I might have something like that in the game, but the menu and all the UI stuff is going to be now it's going to be in here where you start. So yeah, there's going to be like this sort of curtain, and in here there's going to be a map and like menu of sorts that you can sort of interact with. Here there'd be like a map here and then a menu here. Sort of like how Antechamber did a menu that you press exit to and you could return to, and it's an actual space in the world. And I'm thinking of having that, but just always here. And rather than having a UI, because I don't think it's really needed. Just thinking how I want to kind of do this. Oh, am I even tracking this? I should make sure. No, I'm not. Oh, no, I am. Am I? No, that was from when I was doing some logo stuff, so I'll change that to like a 15. I think I started this around 3 minutes ago, and it's 15:30, so 15:30. I mean 15 o'clock. I forget to track when I'm doing these streams. So you take this here, then you have to move it over here. That's the first thing. Yeah, take it here and move it here. And they're both going to be in the first case. It's not ready, and it is inactive, so this will activate maybe I'll figure out what it will it's going to activate one of these curtains for sure, but since there's going to be also a case 2 to this, maybe it's that this case 1 is for navigation, so in here you move through the level only in this case. But in the second case, it's just simply used to get from one of these squares to the other. But some squares will be not able to. Like obviously, you can't have the second case just be all of it, because I can just yeah, go over here and then find a way to activate that with another button. Now it's kind of complete with all of these. Let's delete this. I'll probably be using these at some point, but not for now. So I should bind the key, like find a way to sort of make this a bit faster by switching cases while doing development. I kind of don't want to do that right now. I mean, this looks a bit better with the colors. And I tried doing something like this for the second one where it would be black, but there would be like a darker shade of black in it. Like these would actually, because the color I use for everything, blackish is 141414, and this is 141414, and when I made it black, so the hex of black being 0 6 times, it looked okay here, but when I put it in the other case 1, it just looked really off, and it kind of made everything feel really fake. Well, not fake. It looked like it was there, but it just wasn't a good color combination. It just felt strange. I'll change the music again. I think I must have said something wrong. Okay, so I know it's gonna. Okay, now I have it. So in here, this will be another curtain. So I'll actually move the curtain over here. So the whole point of this level is for you to like go in each row. So funny, I'm getting the same by designing this level. I get the same aha moment that you would get probably by solving it, or hopefully you would get. If the others are too loud in my voice. Oops. See, then that deactivated the whole thing. So what would happen is you would go in here, and now you're in the void, but it would be a second row, and then there'd be some puzzle in that row. So let's design that puzzle. Getting stuck in the middle of them, no, because you can't. I disabled the by switching. I get to simply. So the way, as you can see, it's built in the hierarchy, is that it's case 2 and case 1. So if when I press F, it just disables this entirely, and then enables this. So I can't really get stuck between them. Because they'll always just be switching. But if you're saying that, like, if I stand like in the wall in the middle of both of them, like what will happen if I press F, and it just simply pushes me back. It'd be fun though if it's sort of like this game was like 2D or something, and they're sort of like inside, and it would be this like crazy animation if you switch in between a wall. But yeah, this game can be done in different mediums. Like I'm planning, if I were to make a mobile version of this game, it would be isometric, and so it would be using the same mechanics but different puzzles and in an isometric view. And or I could do like a homebrewed like a DS game or something like this where it would be 2D. And you would have to use arrows or something. But yeah, I think I might continue with this, and I might return even to remake this game in a few years, as I think that since this is sort of like my first game, I'm kind of working on a lot. I'm probably going to learn a lot throughout, and this idea I think I want to continue when I know more. But yeah, but I still want to do this first because it's a lot of fun, and I'm learning a lot while doing it. I'm just testing something I already know is going to work, but I thinking of an idea will come to me. Whoa. Oh, it's doing that again. Yeah. Wait. So take it out from here. I might just... Yeah, okay. Not freaking out. Okay. And it should make a sound when it disables. I'll add that in some point. But now I'm in here, so I wouldn't have been able to access that here. I only be able to access it here. Then I'll have to solve whatever is in here to open this. And actually by doing these, because the first level after you, at the very, very first level in this game is you're stuck in this room and you have to figure out how the buttons work without really knowing. There's kind of like cryptic letters all over the place, and I do kind of hint at it in the opening like panel, but it was fun to see people kind of get stuck there, and I kind of liked that. But you just simply learn how to this by just experimenting with your keyboard, and then the second one after that is I was designing a level to be kind of the same amount of space, but only using the shifting mechanic. And I was wanted it to be using every single one of the things I had like this sheet where I had all my ideas for the game before I made them, and one of the things on there was I wanted it to be that each level from above would be symmetrical, and so that second level was symmetrical and I was using the same kind of shape. But there's this one space I just didn't have a use for, as it was originally going to be just you kind of went through here. But then I changed that so that there'd be two levels, which you probably saw. So then I added this to the mix of the level where you would actually have to jump up and go through them, because I also kind of want to use these for kind of navigation over levels to kind of do the whole point where I go into spaces you don't really get into. And yeah, that kind of was interesting. And I removed that translucent translucent glass curtain that you would see when you're in there, and said you're gonna have to solve that puzzle by looking at the map, because I do want there to be macro functionality, and I might even include Easter eggs into this game of sorts that you only can really view on the map where they are, and you have to figure out how to get there. But that's probably when cases start getting much bigger, because I know the levels are planning to be are gonna get a lot bigger than this and longer. But I'm doing lots of introductory stuff in the game right now, just to make sure people get how it works, but in a way that I don't directly tell them, because that would be not fun, at least to me. So in here, there's an activator. There's gonna be a button here at some point. Or actually, no. Yeah, maybe I just want these no buttons in this case. We'll see. I also used to plan out all these levels in my sketchbook, but then I kind of found that to be a bit too much. So I can simply kind of design levels this way, where I get the mood of a space and then see what I can do with it. It just seems to be a lot faster for me right now. That might change in the future. Oh, I know why that's not working. Going in the right direction. Oh right, I really shouldn't be doing it like that. My pre-tab is broken. Sorry, spacing out. You can't get in here, right? What? What's going on? Why does it do that? Why is it still confusing them? Seems like my computer's prioritizing sound, but I think I know actually why. So now this is in the very middle, so can go through these both like that. But I can't go in here. Or wait. I'm gonna look at something. Just checking something. All right, back to here. I was kind of curious, because I don't think there's gonna be really a way to see it, but like speed development. So I sort of speed up my illustrations, but if I could speed up, I don't really know if there's a way to kind of see how this level changes over time. But just me kind of doing this all quickly, then showing the full level in the end. Okay, back to here. So yeah, maybe I just want to continue this. Yeah, just continue this for each one of them. We simply need to get this to that one. Also, I think it does make the level look a bit more coherent. Oops, that's not good. Let's just test something. I want to make sure what's causing this, because I think I might know. The fact that they kind of reset like that. Okay, so that's good. Nope, okay. Okay, great. So I want it to be that you have to go through here. Make it a challenge to go through here. And so all of that really has to be done in the second case. If I'm just going to keep everything here kind of looking the same. Oh, so this looks kind of cool. Well, wanna watch a cool movie? What? This is driving me insane. I don't want to have to fix it right now though, because I'm not really in the mood. Wait a minute. Okay, wait. What am I doing? Okay, I'm doing something, but I just realized something. I could just take one of these. No, I can't take one. Okay, cool. Because, yeah, I was thinking I can take this out and then solve it, but no, I couldn't. Okay, good thing I made sure of that being a thing. Yeah, these do not look good in the level. I'm gonna change the design of these. I want to know what's causing that error. This error, these are just, yeah, these are just my menu. Since it still has the menu, I disabled the menu. I'm just thinking if I might want to include it later on, but probably not. I'm mainly just using them for these, since that's kind of... Now it works. It's funny as I'm thinking, like, well, what if this game had portals? Would it just be a portal? that's too simple. That would just be the same as having this an extra button to press, so what's a puzzle? Possible to have one. I did not duplicate these right. So it's already there. So let me have this. Yeah, okay. This is not good. But yeah, in the end, it's supposed to be that all these are open and they get to this very last one, so it's kind of like this ding thing. Yeah, this looks so good. Except for these. I'm gonna fix these. I wonder what they should look like. I mean, maybe I can just get rid of the outline. Like how they're kind of like these circles, maybe them just being simply just a thin circle and that's it. I originally thought of adding like sort of like the infinite mirrors that everything has in this game, and sort of accent, and maybe have them be on the buttons. And I tried that, and it just didn't look very good. Either making them sort of originally the buttons were physical like slots that floated around, similar to how these floated around. Similar to how these floated. They're like that, except you like you have to like press. You have to like right click on something. No, left. Yeah, right click on something for a bit to pull it out, and then left click on another one to put it in. But I changed that because it just didn't look very good, and it didn't really go with like the very tactile amount of the game. It was kind of slow, and I think that like some later levels, I kind of want there to be ramps you would jump off of. Like you would have to gain momentum similar to Portal in a way, with the teleporters which will be coming in as like the last mechanic, which I guess you could say are sort of like Portal guns. But you'd slide down and you can like jump up really fast and like really click on these fast, and you can go back off. So like these ones are better fit. So yeah, allowing them to be on the walls, I mean I can just like jump up in the air. Also, there's no right side. So, yeah, I should have known that they really shouldn't be curtains, they should instead be just simple panels. I set lots of notifications on artists because Twitter kind of hides their stuff, and the lists includes it very often. I might actually just make a list for it. Yeah. So I'll just remove these are just going to be no, there's going to be no connections with the activators on them. Where'd they go? See how long this stream has been going on. Oh, it's back on. Might take a break, I'm not sure. But I'm feeling kind of good about this. Gonna have to do something I really don't like to do. Or not. So also how the colors work on these ender panels is that they these retain the colors or whatever panels are next to them, not really what's in them. So these are originally gonna be black, but they kind of looked a bit weird. So I'm making it just so whatever's next to them. So one of the cases it's next to red panels, as you can't really shift there. So this is retaining the colors from these two panels that are adjacent. So yeah, in the end, you would have destroyed all these, and then there'd be a the third ones would be to deactivate that one inside in the red. I point to my screen, even though no one's seeing that. But yeah, you'd be disabling this one with whatever would be here, and it would reveal the end. But you'd still have to get rid of this, and that'd be sort of like the end running streak where you would have to get this activator through all of here. I'm just sort of doing the same thing over again. Let's get to it. Fixing these. So this is connected to none. This is connected to none. Map. What? So I have all these. So if you want, you can already do this. And you disable it. But you still have to open up this one. Yeah, I was also questioning if I just even want to have there be depth in this space. If it would just be simply a wall that you would disable, but I might like retaining this as sort of like there's always that. Because there could be a puzzle by disabling the last one. I mean, not the last one, but this circle one in the red. Always disabling is kind of like an extra task. When mirrors are in, there's going to be so many more possibilities too. Okay, so let's solve this one. So maybe this one has 2 levels because that doubles the amount of puzzles in this space, or puzzle possibilities. And also reincorporates because I don't think there's any puzzles. I actually have a few kind of use this. So let's have there be. And maybe. Maybe that's, maybe this is what puzzles. I'd have to make a separate texture for when it goes above, as the lines kind of cut in between like that. notice it. Whoa. Something weird happened. Oh. Would there be a platforming element here? Because I'm thinking of removing this, because once this is gone, it kind of becomes distracting. So that could be actually interesting. Well, no, there's no big platforming, because you can just jump high enough up there. Yeah, this happens. I don't know why this happens, but this is so annoying. Why does it cut it off like that? I wonder if anyone here knows. When I get close to a wall, it just sort of cuts out the texture in this strange way. I don't know why that happens. Let's see, like up here, if it happens too. Yeah, it happens there too. This character controller is the default Unity one. I'm thinking about using Toro horses. Or just making my own, but that's a bit too much work. So you can jump high enough. So in here, you have to drop down to get to here. So in order to get into here, you'd have to drop down from here into the second case, so you'd have to... Yeah. What did I press? Oh, this closes. I don't know what I pressed when that happened one time before. Just close. Yeah, it seems to only do that to anything that has a trigger around it by disabling that texture. I guess when this album is over, I'll stop doing the stream. Because I don't want to put too much into something and eventually I'm just sort of repeating the same thing over and over again, which is kind of what's happening. And I notice it happens to me a bit when I do things for long periods of time. Gotta find out why that happens. There, it happens again there. When I'm even in debug view. Why does it do that? So weird. So maybe those are not there. I don't really know how to continue this one. I'm gonna just work on a different space for now, because I know this idea can be continued a bit more. So what's funny is I'm stuck on designing any of my cases that are any of these activator cases, so these ones will be limited to only the using these things and shifting. So it's actually somewhat challenging to design puzzles just using only these, and through this limitation I kind of get the ideas for when there are buttons. And so I had some old button ideas, but they're really not good from this because they're meant for puzzles that are so simple like these are. Also, yeah, you probably might be noticing this, and I really am annoyed by it, and I think it's just due to the red cases having different, like, coordinates that are really set off of it. But yeah, I get so annoyed when I see this. Yeah, this is annoying too, but this is like an example of me using the split things as a way for navigation over an area. Because in here, they would be leaking into the first part of this level. This is like an example of what the exit's gonna look like. Very happy with how this looks. I'm going to duplicate this. checking something. This is so cool. I'm looking at this. I'm like very happy about the game's visual style at some point. It's like right now. I don't know why, but everything just feels so good to look at. This actually makes sense for a better button puzzle. I'm having the idea that you see this hallway, you just solve the rest of the puzzle. I mean, I have still a few more like spaces for button puzzles because I think there's like 8 of them. This might be a good idea. I'm gonna try seeing if I can do this only with activators, but if I think it would work better as a button puzzle, then yeah, because I'm thinking of just using all of the space around it, around the hallway as the space for the puzzle. Maybe. Have yet to. That's what he just started doing. This activator would be here. It's so satisfying designing these levels with all the clicking and stuff. Hallway will burn your eyes. And yeah, this is also an example of when I'm gonna start having these be black. Yeah, the whole thing is that you cannot shift in this area. Black line. I actually want to see what's causing that. That's this leaking into there, or I think it's this leaking into it. Yeah. Yeah, whatever. This is gonna be a button puzzle now. So I'm changing this to a curtain. Maybe I should design puzzles this way, where I see if I can just do them with activators and then see what ideas come from it. Like using this super limitation, this very big limitation. Because working with limitations does enable some really cool creativity or ideas. Now you have to go through all of the outside area. much left of yours in the album. I keep forgetting. Okay, cool. And after this, what am I gonna do? That being development. What am I gonna do after development? Maybe... My names for these are so incoherent with all the other spaces. This is not going to work because there's no menu instances require a menu to be used. So I'm going to have to bring a menu in from another state or case or space. Oh, and they have no audio source. goes to an exit, so... Right, I shouldn't be testing because there's no point. Bring the menu. But these are hopefully not going to be the menus. I'm going to find out how to fix these just so you don't miss menus. Just like I could just... Wait, are these even... I just need to remove this from the code. But I don't want to do that now. Probably do that tomorrow or tonight. This is gonna be interesting. I want to see what happens, so I'll just solve the normal puzzle. Yeah, it's not possible. So I'll just remove everything. Make these hollow. Keep an activator in this. Everything's really paused right now. I'm just testing something. Okay, made the sound. Oh! That's the wrong... What is going on? Oh. Yeah, I should know.
loss of capability, no loss of true functionality whatsoever.
Okay, so let's figure out how I want to design this puzzle space. I'm gonna clear out everything, and I guess keep this here. Wait, okay, that's a better idea. Wait, oh, this is, that's one of the first levels I originally had that was not going to be implemented. Okay. Using something like this. Here, I'm just going to first redesign a bit of it. So maybe I would want this, or, and this might actually make me have to use the, no, yeah, it looks terrible. I think that makes more sense. So. Because you'll only be seeing it from here when you're here. This is also turning out to be a good looking level. Feels like that when it was all red, that if you were to stand it here, you'd be disintegrated, or like that. These would turn in, these red lines would become like grid lasers that would like chop into a million pieces. Kind of makes me think something like that. I wish, can I make textures double-sided? Where one side would be something, the other side would be not? So for example, if I were to look into here, I would see the red there to be, like these are sort of like those one-way mirrors, or two-way mirrors, where like you can see through one part of the mirror but you can't see through the other. So you do something like that with this. Figure out, actually, because that could be really nice looking. I'm sure textures can be double-sided. But I also think that first let's make this. And yeah, there's kind of an atmosphere developing in this game. I couldn't really say that there was one, but now the space has like an atmosphere to it that I think is more present than other ones. Just trying to think about what the audio would be from this. I think I have an idea. So yeah, there'd be two buttons. These ones deactivate this, and then there's going to be one that has to deactivate this. No. Maybe this should have been... No, I think it'd be good with two. So there'd be one in the case 2, and there'd be one in case 1. Okay, let's just see how much longer there is. Okay, so like 8 minutes. Like 10. So I guess I'll just start building the basics for the next time I work on this, which will be tomorrow. Or hopefully will be, because yesterday I was going to say I was going to do illustration today, but that didn't turn out to be the case. So let's duplicate these and put them into case 2. hide stable. Yes. This is funny looking. Delete to. Why isn't it doing her? Are these like protruding a bit? No, that's just the red. This looks a bit nice. I always thought that if there'd be some way I can like have the both cases in one, but then that just turns out to be the red case. Really, are the cases where both cases sort of combine. But yeah, if there to be like a gray case or something, like a gray portions. I'm still thinking that might be for when I implement non-Euclidean spaces into this game, because the last part of the game is going to have like infinite like passageways. That one case would be, for example, non-Euclidean, one place would be Euclidean. So one would just be probably like 4 squares, and the other one would be like a 6 squares. And depending on how you move into one, it affects where you will be in the second one. But because that could be really interesting and kind of fun, like way to flip over a lot of the rules that are established in the game already. Just testing just sort of setting up some things. So this corridor is also going to be in here. Block that's going to be around it too. Keep forgetting. Or are these all? Does that even make sense? I could just stretch out the block. Oh, I'm just heading up to it. Okay. So now you should be able to shift in there despite having no access point really yet. Oh, whoa. I think I set the textures on that one. And I know I didn't set the textures on the previous one too, so... yeah. I didn't set the textures right, like this one's still active on the second one, using the active texture. It automatically changes them anyway. And these disable... not the exit. These disable this one in the second case. I mean the first case. Now it's quite simple, but obviously there's gonna be more stuff gonna be going on in this. So let's see if they work. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, okay, cool. You can't shift in here. Whoa! I guess there's one in there. So definitely gonna change the buttons by next time. Yay! Okay, so that's basically what you're supposed to... that's going to be the process of actions you need to do to open everything. And now I need to add an actual puzzle to it. And you would go here and you get to the next one. And also, you don't have to, you're not going to have to jump through them anymore. I'm going to make it so when you press E, you just go to the next one. Because they don't really look like things you would jump into. They look like things you'd press and then maybe like disintegrated and rebuilt into the next phase or something. Or the entire room around you like disintegrates and it rebuilds right at the point where you are. Don't know how the rules of this strange world work. So it says it's there. I'm not sure why it's not letting me do it there. I mean, why it's... I think I'm done for today. Yeah, okay. Well, I did make some progress. I've started 2 new levels for the buttons, and both of which I think I can do by next time. Or at least one of them. But yeah, I made some good progress today. See ya.